Okay, so you're putting a title on your notebook, and it's called Multiplying Two Binomials. Do you remember what a binomial is? A binomial has two terms. So for example, and I'm going to leave a little space here because I want to call this also another name. So for 2 seconds, just leave it empty. But what it looks like, multiplying a binomial by a binomial, which means two terms. So this is what two terms look like. 2x plus 5 times, checks up, 6x minus 4. This is a binomial, two terms. This is a binomial, two terms. We're multiplying a binomial by a binomial, whereas before, when we were distributing, we were taking a monomial, multiplying it by a binomial. So this is what we were doing before. We could have a trinomial. We could have -3 times 2x plus 4y minus 8. We could actually know how to multiply that. This would be distribution, distribution, distribution. Monomial by a trinomial. And the enrichment also knew how to do monomials with variables times a binomial with more variables, where we were doing x times x. So this was enrichment. This the regular class knows, the regular class knows. Enrichment, enrichment, binomial times a binomial, which we actually call foiling. Foiling. Okay, so you're going to use, I'm going to use this word a lot. We're going to FOIL, we're going to distribute two binomials. So either I say, hey guys, we're going to be doing multiplication of two binomials, or I'm going to say we're going to do some foiling. What does this mean? So you ready? I'm going to take the first term and multiply it by the first term and the second term. So I want to start with that. Can we do that? So 2x times 6x. 2x times 6x. So I've got 12.
X squared?
Good. 12x squared. Where did we get 12x squared? 2 times 6 is 12. X times x, we do 1 plus 1 is 2. Good? Good? Sure?
Yeah, I was just
Okay,
wondering about
perfect. Next, 2x times -4. 2x times -4. -8x. Amazing. Amazing. We're going to do the same thing with the 5. We're going to take this 5, multiply it with the 6x, and multiply it with the 4. Now you could use two colors as well. What's 5 times 6x?
30x?
So plus 30x. Is it right if I do not have this plus sign? Can I leave it like this? No. Can I have a comma? No. Please, if it is a positive, put plus. And now I need 5 times -4. -20. What's the last step to my foiling, to my distribution of two binomials? What is my last step? Alex?
You simplify.
Simplify. Good. And usually, the simplifying comes right here between these two terms. They end up being the same. So you take these two guys here, and you do -8 plus 30, which becomes positive 22. Positive 22. I'm going to use another color to identify it. So plus 22 is here. 22x's I have this 12x squared that nothing changes because it wasn't simplified and there were no like terms, and the minus 20. So in general, most of the time, 99% of the time, your final answer will be a trinomial. When won't it be a trinomial? When won't it be and it'll end up being a binomial is when these two end up canceling each other. For example, minus 8x plus 8x. What ends up happening? We have no x's, so we're left with the first term and the second term, which ends up being a binomial. But the chances of that are less than having two terms that you have to add or subtract. Yes?
What if like what if they're not like what if 12x and that 20 in the end, what if they were like terms?
If they were like terms, you would put them together. When you're multiplying binomials, chances are the only thing right now in grade 8 is this is what happens. Okay? I'll answer all your questions. Here's example number 2 of foiling. This is an enrichment lesson, which I'll write up here. Enrichment only. I will post it. I will post this as an enrichment, probably lesson number 2, if I'm not mistaken, okay? I will have this on YouTube as of today. So if anybody was absent, anybody did not understand the lesson, you can go back and practice probably one more after this as well. So if I were you, if I'm somebody who has a hard time visualizing or keeping track or a little bit disorganized or a little bit messy, I would use 2 colors for this. I would use one for the first term, and then I would use another color for the second term because it could get messy. Please pay attention, eyes on me. Yes, Luca. I don't tell you that you have to do anything. What I suggest is to help you stay organized and have a better chance in not making a mistake. And then it's up to you. So the arrows, I can't force you to put them, but I suggest, I highly recommend if you want to do things properly and if you want to get higher chances of getting it right. Okay, so let's do this together. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6m squared. So remember, m times m is m squared. 3m times 7 is 3 times is 21m. The second term is negative times a negative is a positive 8m. And finally, my last arrow is pointing to negative 4 times 7, which is negative 28. This would be 1 mark. And for your second mark, I would love to see that you simplify the 2 terms in the middle that are the same, that are like terms, and I would carry down. I'll do this in one color. So this is 29m, and then the side ones positive, and the side ones come down because nothing it can be simplified as negative 6m squared, and this one as negative 28. Final answer, and another mark. Trinomial, coefficient of negative 6 and 29. What's this called? A constant. Very nice. Let's do one more example. Do it on your own, and then I'll correct it. Yes?
Negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6.
No, that's if you're adding. They are being multiplied. Multiplied means 4 times 2 is 8. A negative times a negative is a positive. So what you did was you made a mistake because you said, hey, miss, minus 4 minus 2 is negative 6. But that's if I'm subtracting and not multiplying. Got it? Final example number 3, and the final one for this topic would be negative 6 times 3 is negative. So I'm going to take that arrow and get negative 18p squared. Negative 6 times negative 8 is a positive 48 p's. So far, so good? Perfect. My following two will be this one and this one. So 5 times 3 is 15p. 5 times negative 8 is a negative 40. What's the same? Usually the only thing that's the same, are the two middle terms, which you need to simplify as 48 plus 15, 63. 63 p's. We have a term that comes down here that does not need to be simplified. And finally, a constant. We are left with a trinomial. Three terms, 3 different terms. A constant, 2 coefficient, expression. That's your review. Okay? Any questions about this? We're good? Okay. Classwork, homework.